We introduce you to Kyle, who is a talented womanizer. Every night he goes on dates with very sensual girls, and after getting what he wants, he sends them home with a kiss on the cheek. One night, while working late, he heard a loud bang coming from the back of his house. After going out to investigate, he ran into Gerard, a well-known drug dealer who has come to collect the debt Kyle owes him. Gerard is crazy and will cut his pretty face if he doesn't pay. So the next morning, Kyle got up early with the intention of working as much as he could to get the money. Although Kyle is handsome and has pretty girls, his job is complete torture. He is a house cleaner. And that morning he arrived at the home of a somewhat creepy old woman who offered extra money for the service. Upon arrival, Kyle realizes why she's paying extra. Her house is a dump, but she only wants the basement clean. Going down, Kyle finds many old things and others destroyed. But the most interesting thing is an old hand-carved coffin that seems to be a few hundred years old. The old woman appears behind him, and after scaring him, she says she wants to get rid of it. She can burn or bury it, but warns him not to use it. Kyle finishes cleaning and leaves, taking the coffin home. At home, Kyle cleans the coffin's exterior, takes photos, and lists them on eBay. Then he opens it and finds a big surprise. Kyle, no, it's not a corpse, it's something stranger. Under the cushions of the coffin is a huge mechanism, as if it were a giant clock. Platt was fascinated by history and such things, so he might know something. He tells him that it might be a torture device that could be worth a lot of money if it still works, but he doesn't offer to test it. He's not that crazy. Platt talks to him about a man they called the Devil's Mechanic. This was a twisted version of Davis. His machines were worse than death, and maybe Kyle has found one. In the scriptures, it talks about a coffin, in fact, to experience death without actually dying. If what the books say is true, the coffin is like a passageway to the world of the dead. Platt tells him it could be worth millions, so he's hit the jackpot. Quickly, Kyle returns home to make sure nothing has happened to the coffin. There he finds his friend Marcus, who says he fixed it by replacing a broken gear. And after Kyle explains to them what it supposedly is and does, curiosity takes over their minds, and Marcus tells them they should try it. But since they aren't brave enough to do it themselves, they decide to put Hershey, their pet fish, inside and turn on the machine. When they turn the key, the mechanism fills with blue electric rays and Hershey dies. When the mechanism stops, the fish comes back to life as they realize what they have in their hands. Julie, Kyle's girlfriend, arrives to spend time with him and keeps asking him when he will get a house of his own. Marcus finds it strange and dislikes her always being at the house when they're together, as Kyle is distracted by the idea of being rich. He decides to tell Julie to postpone the rest of the day and calls Platt to talk about the coffin. When Platt arrives, the guys explain what happened, and he is reluctant to believe it's true. They must test it with someone real or nothing. Kyle gathers his courage and takes the first turn in the machine. Marcus takes his camera and Vlad turns the key 3 times, which according to the writings, will give Kyle about 1 minute in the other world. When the machine starts working, Kyle becomes a being similar to ectoplasm and can see his friends from the world of the dead. Marcus is scared shitless when he sees that Kyle has no pulse, but he comes back to life shortly after and tells them what he saw. Platt is next, managing to get quite far away from them and reaches the train tracks. Marcus, who is disabled, wants to know if the machine can give him back his legs, so he enters and turns the key 40 minutes. Once he enters the world of the dead, he realizes that he can't see his legs from the knee down, but he can walk. Excited, he leaves the house and sees Julie parking. A few seconds later, she starts yelling for Kyle to come out. She has received her bank statement and it turns out Kyle has been stealing from her. He tries to explain, but she ends their relationship and leaves. In the car, Marcus approaches Julie and confesses that he is in love with her. When he tries to touch her, he returns to the machine as his time is up. The experience is incredible but extremely addictive, which is why Platt asks them not to use it until he reviews the writings and sees if there is any danger. Everyone agrees, although Marcus can't stop thinking about how he was able to walk again. Platt returns to the university, where he finds a homeless man lying at the door, so he tries to avoid him. To his surprise, when he turns his back, the person stands up and turns out to be the Devil's Mechanic, none other than Von Tristan, who gives him the scare of his life and then disappears. Back at the house, Tristan appears to Kyle, but only for 1 second. just enough for the young man to ignore him, thinking it because of the marijuana he smoked. Then he calls Julie to try to explain what happened, but she tells him that it would be best if they took some time apart and hangs up the video call. After smoking more to distract himself from his problems, Kyle decides to use the machine again without telling his friends. While walking in the alternate world city, he sees a guy closing his pawn shop, follows him, and memorizes the alarm and safe codes. Back at his garage, he dresses like a thief, goes there, and steals all the money. One weapon. It's easy when you know all the combinations. With the money, Kyle goes and pays his debt to Gerald, and they also buy something a little stronger. Although Kyle is using a stronger dose each time, he doesn't feel anything. Not even Gerald's strongest drug feels as good as using the machine. At home, Marcus has used the machine again to go to Julie's house and kiss her while she sleeps. The next morning, Platt calls Kyle to say not to use the coffin. Discovering the music that plays when activated is a ritual to summon the devil. Later, Platt returns with equipment to record and analyze the coffin's music. At that moment, Kyle can't resist the temptation and gets into the coffin. When Platt tries to stop him, he forcefully pushes him away. Once in the world of the dead, Kyle visits Gerard. He is a despicable man, but surely has hidden money. While watching him, he sees Gerard abusing a young woman just to give her a dose. This disgusts and repulses him, so he decides to do something to punish him. Marcus also gets into the coffin just to follow Julie everywhere. And when I say everywhere, I mean the gym showers. Kyle knows what Marcus is doing. It's obvious that when he returns to the real world he has an erection, and that bothers him. That night, Platt analyzes the recording and realizes it has incredible power. Every small living thing that hears it dies, including Marcus's fish and the flies in his lap. Kyle goes to Julie and says he's paid off his credit card debts, wants to apologize and get back together. But Julie says she can see in his eyes he's using drugs again. Plus he looks dead, and she doesn't have time for this garbage. Annoyed, Kyle did something crazy and stole all the drugs from Jared, crossing the line and possibly putting everyone at risk. Meanwhile, Platt analyzes the machine and finds it sticks a small needle behind their heads each time they use it. But when he tries to look behind his head, he realizes he's not alone. One terrifying shadow just passed behind him. Scared, he decides to leave, but Tristan appears once more and attacks him, pushing him down the stairs and causing his death. In the house, Kyle realizes that Platt was right. The machine is killing them little by little, and the visions they are having are real. Death is coming after them. While Kyle uses the machine, Marcus decides to go with Julie and show her the ornament where Kyle has been hiding the drug he uses. Then he tells Julie that Kyle will never be worthy of her, that she should be with a man who appreciates her, and blah blah. The point is Julie rejects him and Marcus loses his temper and attacks her. To everyone's surprise, the machine has restored strength to his legs and he can walk. Before harming Julie, Marcus stops and promises her that she will regret it. At home, the police show up to inform Kyle of Platt's death. The young man left a note saying that death is coming for them and he must destroy it. Kyle grabs an axe and prepares to smash the coffin, but Marcus appears and attacks it. In the seconds it takes Kyle to process that Marcus is walking, he manages to knock him out. Then he uses the machine and goes to Yulita's apartment to scare her. He has realized that he can move things with his mind and uses these powers to put several pills in her glass. When he falls awake, Marcus is not there, but Julie is calling him on Zoom. She tells him that something strange is happening in her house, and she feels very weak. Then she faints and Kyle finally understands everything, so he runs to Marcus's room. But it's empty. There are only photos and drawings of Julie everywhere, showing that he is completely obsessed with her. When Kyle arrives at Julie's house, it's too late. Marcus has already kidnapped her and taken the coffin with him. He has Julie tied up in a secret place and promises her that she will soon witness the true power the coffin offers to those with a dark soul. Kyle has followed Marcus to the university, but he uses the coffin and his powers to attack him from behind and trap him in the gym. You can't hit a ghost, so Marcus takes the lead. Kyle manages to escape through the ducts and climb to the rooftop where Marcus has the coffin. When he arrives, Tristan appears before him, but Kyle isn't afraid to die and goes through him without hesitation. Then he pulls Marcus from the coffin and throws him too quickly. He sprays the coffin with gasoline and prepares to set it on fire. When Marcus wakes up and attacks him, the power of evil has given him tremendous strength. and Kyle loses the fight. However, he still has the soul he stole from the pawn shop and uses it to shoot the coffin and create a spot. As the cursed coffin burns, Marcus attacks him full of fury and throws him off the rooftop. But Kyle is not ready to die yet and grabs onto the edge. His enemy steps on his hands and laughs. Kyle will be dead soon, and he has Julie to have fun with as much as he wants. At that moment, Julie, having freed herself, grabs the weapon and shoots Marcus in the neck. But he doesn't fall, so she shoots him again. Kyle takes advantage of this opportunity to climb up and hit him with all his strength, managing to throw him off the rooftop to his death. As he falls, Marcus's ghost separates from his body and Tristan appears to claim what belongs to him. The movie ends with Kyle starting over with Julie, who has decided to forgive him and help him overcome his addiction. Kyle visits the old woman to tell her that he destroyed the coffin as she wanted, and at that moment she becomes a ghost and crosses over to the beyond. It seems his mission was to destroy the artifact, and thanks to Kyle, he has now done it. And so this great movie ends. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and thanks for